Good evening and welcome to this evening's meeting at the Planning Committee. I am Councillor Emma Sidden and I'm the chair of the committee. Please be aware this meeting is being filmed, live streamed and uploaded on the council's YouTube channel. I'd just like everyone just to introduce themselves. If we start with Councillor Dan Bowen, please.
I'm Dan Bowring. I'm councillor for Sion and Brentford Lock.
Councillor Farah Kamran, Councillor for Henwood Park.
Councillor Marina Sharma, Councillor for Brentford East.
Councillor Sarah Rosa, Councillor for Hounslow South.
Councillor Dani Said, Councillor for Hounslow East.
Councillor Hina Mir, Councillor for Feltham West.
Councillor Tom Bruce, Councillor for Hounslow South.
Councillor John Stroud-Turp, Councillor for Isleworth.
Jimmy Walsh, Legal Advisor to the committee.
Hello, I'm Matthew Rees, Head of Development Management.
I'm Jackie Lang, I'm Planning Officer.
Councillor Arish Parwan, Bedford Ward. Councillor Lal, Heston East Ward.
Councillor Ahmed, Heston East Ward.
Councillor Mosley, Brentford East.
Thank you. Do we have any apologies of absence?
I've had an apology from Councillor John Todd.
Thank you. And any declarations of interest? No.
I need to say I've had correspondence from people, I think on both, certainly the first one, if not the second one as well. I assume that's the same for everybody.
Assume it's everyone, yeah. Thank you. The minutes of the last meeting, can we agree the meetings, please? And now I'm going to the first applicant and I'm going to Jackie. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Jackie Lang, the Planning Officer of this application. The first application here tonight is 299 to 303 Chiswick High Road. The picture is the front elevation of the site. So this is a retrospective application for the change of use of a food takeaway and also a restaurant into a lounge bar in the basement and a restaurant on the ground floor. This is the location plan. You can see that it is on the southern side of Chiswick High Road. It is within Chiswick Town Centre. It is a secondary shopping frontage. This is also in the Turning Green Conservation Area. The pre-existing use of 299 Chiswick High Road is a takeaway shop. The pre-existing use of 301 to 303 Chiswick High Road is a restaurant. The proposed change of use and the merging the units into one restaurant is acceptable, considering the location and also the pre-existing use. This is the front and rear proposed elevation. There will have no change proposed for the elevations. The only change, the only factor that would change the appearance of the property is that there would be 4 cycle parking spaces installed at the rear elevation, which is in front of the stairs. The main concern of the application is related, so this is the picture. It is actually the photos that we have taken on site. This is the rear elevation, and there would have 4 cycle parking spaces if we approve the application. And then this picture is the basement of the site. It would be a lounge if we approve the application. The main concern of the applications is related to the impact on adjoining neighbors, particularly the noise impact. The planning team recommends the approval because the applicants have submitted information related to acoustic details and the materials. The applicant has installed sound insulation on the ceiling and the floors so that it could separate the commercial units on basement and also the ground floor from the residential units on the first floor. Besides, they also carried out some tests in the presence of the council's regulatory officers in March. With the testing results and also the information submitted, the council's regulatory team confirmed that they would not object to the application. If the application is being approved today, the applicant would be bound by a condition to carry out all the noise management policies and also mitigation measures according to the noise impact assessment that they have submitted. The application has an active license. So if the application is approved tonight, the approved hours of use would be the same as the license. The operation hours would be 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. on Sundays to Thursday, and 9 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Thank you very much.
Members, do we have any questions? Councillor John?
Yeah, thank you very much. We understand that the owners have gone to quite a lot of trouble to put in noise mitigation proofing. Is it right to say they've gone beyond the standard building control specifications, or are they at the minimum that's required? Are you to help us with that one?
I am not an expert on that one. I have talked to our regulatory officers before, and we understand that they have done the tests, and then with the result, our regulatory team, which means the council, is satisfied with the results. That is what I have been told.
Anybody else? No. Okay, we can go to the objector. Can I welcome Joanne Biddulph, please? Good evening, Joanne Biddulph, Councillor Joanne Biddulph, sorry. Just to advise you, you have 5 minutes to speak. We will let you know we've got 30 seconds left.
Thank you. Thanks. Good evening. I'm Councillor Joanna Biddulph of Chiswick Gunnersbury Ward. First, I would like to emphasise that everyone, residents and nearby business owners, wants this business to succeed. It is on a less active section of Chiswick High Road where more customers are needed to support the existing businesses. A successful business at this location will shine a spotlight on the area. It must be the right spotlight. That means it must also respect the neighbourhood, residents and businesses. This is a residential area with more people living here than there are businesses. Both matter. You've all had an email from a resident who lives near this property about her experiences. I hope you read that and the WhatsApp exchange with the business owner, and that you saw the photos she included. I would like you to consider 2 important points as raised by the resident who emailed you. Insufficient soundproofing to adjacent properties, not above and below, but at basements and ground levels at the side. Unsanitary and dangerous waste management left for months, potentially blocking access and encouraging pests. And you saw in the photograph that Jackie showed you that there is a heap in one place, there's another heap elsewhere as well. First, soundproofing, which means noise and vibrations. The resident who emailed is a sound engineer. She knows how noise works and how it travels. We must take her comments seriously. Festivals in Gunnersbury Park have shown me and residents that there is a difference between volume, which is decibel levels, and vibrations caused by lower broadcast frequencies, that thud-thump of the bass that shakes sofas, rattles windows, doors and pictures. The resident lives 2 properties away from this business, but the decibels travel across, as does the thumping bass. Lateral soundproofing appears to be inadequate. You've heard about the other soundproofing. Lateral soundproofing is not working, and I would say it has not gone above and beyond. As the resident says, her experience with noise is very different from people living above or opposite the premises. She says that the impact is better when the front door is closed, but that volume control is erratic. The application refers to soft background music, which is not what people dance to or perform to, and it is not what we heard on site this afternoon. This is an area of potential dispute and needs to be clarified. The term soft background music needs to be described in enforceable terms. The decibel level needs to be reduced, the lower frequencies need to be suppressed, and more effective lateral soundproofing is needed on walls. I ask that this be added as a condition to this application, that effective soundproofing is needed on walls, that soft background music is defined in enforceable terms, that it must include measures that eliminate thumping and vibrations, with the regulatory team working with the resident and the business to agree those levels. Secondary unsanitary waste at the back. We saw this today on the site visit. A heap that I had seen about 10 days ago with additional waste, including food waste added since then. The resident sent photos with her email too, and I took 1 or 2 today. The applicant talked about his premises being fully sealed and not at risk of vermin, but neighbours, including people living in the houses at the rear of these premises, in flats next door and above, and the rest of the terrace are at risk, as are local businesses, including several food businesses. I would like a condition to be added about better waste management. I don't see anything in the application about that, with waste removed regularly and food waste monitored and removed daily to reduce the risk of vermin infestations here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Councillor Joanne Biddulph? No. Councillor Tom Bruce?
Yeah, I suppose my question here is I don't know if it's complete difference between what you're saying and what's written here. So reading the papers in 6.10 to 6.14 about noise and amenity, there was testing carried out on amplified and associated control measures. The council's regulatory team is satisfied that the test results and therefore did not object to this application. Therefore, it's not considered the application would result in noise harm to adjoining neighbours. But that kind of goes against what you're saying. But this testing says otherwise, and it's just that's obviously a difficult thing for us to. We've got this in front of us. That's what I've read today, and you've come and said something different.
I can't speak for the regulatory team, and I don't know what they tested, what volume level they were shown and demonstrated, what the lower frequencies, what the type of music was. I'm reporting what a resident experiences two buildings away at the basement level, which is why I'm talking about lateral soundproofing. They will only have tested, I suspect, up and down soundproofing. I don't know if they visited the resident, for example.
Councillor Darnish.
Good evening. Yeah, just a question. You said that the waste had been present for at least 10 days. Is that the norm for that kind? Is it regularly that kind of messy space, or do you think this was a one-off? I mean, and the other question I would just like to ask: if the lateral soundproofing was up to speed, would that satisfy the residents, do you think? Thank you.
With the waste, I've seen it over several months, and I've seen the same pile. Some of it is building waste. Some of it has been added to. Food waste varies. Sometimes it's on the top and it's openly scavenged, and sometimes it's new sacks. It has got purple sacks there, which means it's residents above shops.
Sorry, Joe, do you mean at the back there, in that picture
Yes.
that we're looking at there?
Yes. Yep. So that heap on the left of it, you can just see a black sack on the very corner, but there's another black sack and there's some purple sacks. I've got a photo of it on my phone if you'd like to see it. And I went to meet the resident there some time ago, and it was there then, and I've walked down that alley several times, and there has always been waste there whenever I've visited. So that is, from my perspective, a problem, particularly when it's scavenged, and you can see it when it's been scavenged. In terms of the lateral, I can't speak for the resident, but she is a sound engineer. She's working on West End shows. That's her professional job. So she knows how the system works. I would have thought that she needs to be involved in lateral soundproofing.
Councillor John Church.
Yeah, thanks very much, Councillor Biddulph. What I'm trying to square here is that 69 neighbours, 2 of the local residents' societies were contacted, press notices were put out, site notices were put out, but only 4 objections were received. But you seem to have lots of objections. Where did the others come from, if I might ask?
I didn't say lots. I haven't said at any point how many I've had.
How many did you have?
I've had one person telling me directly in visiting, and I've had several from another location.
Several is?
Half a dozen.
Half a dozen.
But you need to bear in mind that the building is unoccupied. So above the 3 houses that there is nobody living. There's a gap between that and the next door terrace, so there wouldn't be any impact there. Sorry, I've had another representations from 2 people living above, but I don't know which above they are in. They're in the section beyond. And some of the complaints, but they're not relevant to this, are about noise on the pavement of patrons, customers, chatting outside and partying outside, which is a different issue.
Okay, so I mean, reality is we've had 4 actual objections and some to you, and you're asking us to take your rather subjective and your objectors' rather subjective view of noise as opposed to the objective testing by the building control and noise abatement people. I just leave it there.
Can I respond to that? Because all of it is subjective. No, it's not fine from my perspective. Chair, may I answer, please? That's an allegation that has been made. Thank you. It's always subjective with noise. It's subjective. Everyone who complains about festival in Gardensbury Park is making a subjective complaint. Those who say it's fine are being subjective, etc. So that's absolutely standard. I don't think you can put that on this resident and the people who've complained. They do have subjective opinions. And as I've said before, it is about lateral noise soundproofing. Above and, on the ground floor, the above premises are another premises from this business. It's the dining area above the club. So there's no impact there. It is sideways that I'm talking about, and that hasn't been tested according to the application information that you've received.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Councillor Rosa?
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Biddulph, can I just ask, did you today go to the site?
I did.
Did you observe the noise or?
I did.
Noise there? And was the noise coming out, or did you hear it anywhere else outside of the premises?
When we were outside, it was softened. When the doors were shut, one of the problems, as you will have read in the representation from the resident, is when the doors open, people leaving and going, arriving, then the noise is easily heard. But how it travels sideways, I'm not an expert. In her email, she has said that she does get leakage from the front door into her flat, which fronts onto the high road.
And is it one of the conditions that the door has to be closed?
Well, they can't be when people are coming and going. That would be
So
impossible.
there is going to be a little bit of spillage of noise. Would you?
I don't know about little bit, but there's going to be spillage.
I mean, if people are going to come in and out, of
Exactly.
course the doors are going to be
Yes,
open.
exactly. That was the point I was making, is there will be spillage.
There will be, okay. But ultimately, when everyone's in and the doors are closed and the sound is not there.
The last time I went to a club, it wasn't a case of everyone in. You have people coming in and out a lot of the time.
So there's going to be a bit of spillage.
There's going to be spillage, yes. I don't know how to define it, whether it's a bit or a lot.
Okay, any more questions? No. Thank you, Councillor John.
Thank you.
And now can I invite the applicant come and speak, please?
Hello, councillors. My name is Shahid Herji. I'm one of the directors of the building.
Hi, you're going to have 5 minutes to speak, and when you've got 30 minutes left, you will be told.
Sure. Yeah, so would you like me to answer questions or?
No, just yeah.
Okay, so as for the refuse, which we'll come to, the restaurant isn't trading at the moment, so it's not my refuse there. Any food waste is nothing to do with us. However, there was building materials because the building is under construction at the moment, and there is building materials there. There's still a few bits and pieces that we hadn't cleared up, but we will do in due course. As for the noise, all the noise was tested. The councillors came down today, it was checked. We have removed any bass sounds, any high decibel noises. We've actually removed them completely. So now it's a very simple sound system, which was tested at 94 decibels, which we're not going to be playing at any time. Any other questions for me, really?
Okay, Councillor Russell.
Thank you, Chair. Just just a point of low frequency bass. Have you eradicated that?
Yeah, we don't have any bass bins in the place. It's all tops and mids, which was heard today. Also, just to advise that there is residence directly above the premises. All flats are occupied, and we've had no complaints. And before we finalised everything, we actually sent letters to all the neighbours, and we went and individually saw them whilst we were playing music. And this neighbour in question, we actually went and saw her when the music was maximum. She was quite happy with the sound, and there was no transfer of volume. And we have actually put soundproofing all around the premises, not only on the ceilings and the floor.
Okay, Councillor John Frito.
Yeah, you heard from the councillors objecting. Struggling with your definition of soft background music. What's your definition of soft
So we're
background
licensed to
music?
play music, but after 1 o'clock is soft background music.
And that is?
That's low, so talkative. So if you're talking, the background music is just simply there.
So not performance music?
Absolutely not.
No dance music?
No dance music.
Just mood music?
According to the license, up till 1 o'clock, the music all turns down, and we leave it as soft background music just for the clients to relax and leave in time.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Dan Barrow.
So there's a question earlier about meeting the minimum standards or going above and beyond. I can't quite find it. I think I read in a license or something you did sort of 3 times as much installation or something. And then, if I may, sort of second question is, I mean, myself and Councillor Farmahan was able to you were able to sort of point out to us today some of the noise mitigation measures, but I wondered if you could just briefly share that with the committee.
So we actually went into the ground and we put sound insulation all the ground, which is not permitted by any sort of regulation. In the ceiling, we did 3 to 4 times more sound insulation than we needed to. This was recommended by my sound engineer that actually came down. The test that he carried out and what he recommended, we went 3 to 4 times higher. We have also gone above and beyond by putting the staircase completely enclosed, which has full sound insulation. The front door is very heavy and it's very, very sound insulated. All the windows and doors, all sound insulated. The rear of the premises, we've gone, instead of half an hour fire doors, which are also sound regulated, we've actually put hour fire doors, backed off with sound insulation on top of that. So wherever we can, possibly in an old building, we've gone to the maximum level.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor
Forgive me. So you've done the roof as well as the floor, and you've done the side of
all the
walls as well.
sides.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else?
Oh, also we have checked the next neighbour. We're in their basement. We've been in there with the sound instrumentation and we've checked it.
Councillor Tom Bruce.
Yeah, sorry, this is me being dense, I'm sure. So this is a retrospective planning application, but you came up and you said that you're not currently operating. Someone else, is that what you
No,
said?
that's only the restaurant upstairs.
Okay,
So that's for
sorry.
the refuse. So at the moment.
So
we
that's
own-
where the refuse, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we were to have food waste, it would be from a restaurant, not from a lounge bar. This is bottles and sort of bits and pieces which wouldn't bother any infestation of rats.
Okay. Is there a waste management plan?
As soon as the restaurant opens, we're definitely going to have a waste management plan going through. At the moment, we only have some bottles that we take home the next day from the premises.
Okay. But so where's the food waste come from?
It's all the neighbours at the back. It's nothing to do with our property. So if you look at the back at the moment, you'll see some purple bags, which is all residents at the back who actually leave their waste behind our property because there's a.
Okay. Okay.
Instead of leaving it out on the street where they should, where all the refuse is collected from, they just leave it behind.
Okay. But the building material, that is yours. But
Yes, that's right. We're doing,
yeah,
because at the moment we're still renovating the premises, which we hope to finish in a week or so.
Okay.
And that will all be cleared up as soon as that's done.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and we can go to a debate. Councillor Dan.
Thank you, Chair. It's more of I think, a point of information rather than a debate or a proposal. Just to say that Councillor Farmahan and I went today, and my interest was to see, what's the noise like outside, and it was, I think, at the maximum volume in the downstairs area. When we went outside to the pavement and the door was open, you could hear the music, but not at a loud level. But when the door was shut, I couldn't hear a thing. So just point of information to the committee.
Anybody else? No. Anyone want to move? Councillor Tom?
Yeah, I mean, on the face of it and reading the report prior to the meeting, and then Councillor Biddulph even started with this, it seems like this is something that we would want to approve. This is a good use of a space. It looks like, business working in the right area, for the right sort of thing, getting some footfall in, as Councillor Biddulph described, getting not as active frontage as the rest of Chiswick High Road, more active perhaps. So that's something that we would want to support and approve. I can understand the issues that raise. I'm not saying I necessarily agree, because I'm not there, and it's difficult to know the weight to put on various aspects. The report says the regulatory officers are satisfied with the noise. But equally, I can, understand if, a neighbour hears vibrations coming through their wall and their sofa, then they're not going to be particularly happy about it. I mean, I feel that the point about the waste has been explained, but I guess it's, the test for us will be, are we satisfied with everything that's been put in place in terms of mitigating the noise here and making sure that, as far as possible, because it is a shop frontage, it is a restaurant / lounge, it's going to have some noise coming from it, but is it mitigated to a sensible level? I guess that's the sort of striking issue here.
Anybody else? Councillor Dunn?
Thank you, Chair. I think when we look at the kind of the data and the information, it's been approved by regulatory officers. It's been approved by licensing. It's approved by our planning officer. Myself and Councillor Farmerhan, when we went down, well, I don't want to speak on his behalf, but I was satisfied with the noise mitigation. So I think we should approve it.
Councillor Rosa?
Thank you, Chair. I mean, it's it improves nighttime economy for the area. We get good footfall. From what I can see and what the applicant has said, I don't see an issue here at all. Thank you.
Shall we move to the vote? Okay. Councillor John?
Yeah, I would echo Councillor Bruce's comments that we obviously we're always mindful and concerned about noise experienced by residents, particularly after what one would call normal business hours. But looking at the history of this application, it's been sent back several times in several different guises. And I think, as Councillor Baring just said, the applicant several times has made efforts to meet the standards required. And notwithstanding the comments that we had in debate before, we can only assess this on the objective measurements of the council's team, not on a subjective view that it might be loud or it might be lateral. If subsequently the noise experienced by neighbours does prove to be beyond that would be allowed, the council can take retrospective action, and we're certain that the applicant's aware of that and stands into danger of having the premises closed should it continually exceed the noise limits, and the council will close it if that happens. And it's the last thing that we want to do, and I'm sure it's the last thing the applicant wants to do. But with that potential penalty hanging over them, and them being aware of it, and I'm sure that they want to be good neighbours to the people around them, I think I should propose we move to approving rather.
Should we move to the vote?
So, Chair, do you need I'm happy to formally second it.
And I was about to second, and just to say as part of that, I think my colleagues have made good points on that, and particularly about enforcement after the fact, if that becomes necessary. So yes, I'm happy to second this.
Okay, those for, put your hands up, please.
Okay, that has been unanimously approved by 13 votes to none.
Thank you. But we're going to take a minute just to swap everything over and then we'll go on to the second application. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. So this is not a application, it is 5 applications at Chiswick Business Park, just north of Chiswick High Road. I won't linger on the description of the site. I'm hoping most people are aware of where it is. But what I would like to draw your attention to is where Silver Crescent is, because that's going to be part of the discussion later when it comes to making representations. Silver Crescent runs to the southwest, west of the site, but I've got a slightly better slide to show you about that later. So what is happening is that Chiswick Business Park, a number of buildings, are going through a decarbonisation programme. There have been applications on units 6, 9, 10 and 11 approved. So those are the ones on the right hand side as you look at it there on the eastern side of Chiswick Business Park. The buildings 1 to 5 are on the western side, and those are the subject of these called-in applications. So this decarbonisation programmes involves a lot of internal works, but they manifest themselves externally with air handling units, fans, and water and air source heat pumps. So that's the equipment that goes on the roof of the building. I've got slides that try and show you what they look like, but I don't think you're going to necessarily get much information from them. They're quite small, so maybe if I'll skip through these slides and then focus on Google Earth, sorry. But what it's showing you is you can see all of the utilities on top of the buildings. I'm going to focus on building 2, which is the one almost dead center, so one up from the right. You can see there's a lot of utilities and such on the roof of the building. They're behind this air handling unit, which is a big fixture on the left-hand side of the building. That's where they're going, but I don't think that's going to be the key of this discussion. I think the key of the discussion is going to be about the noise impact as a result of these units. So, which is why we have got this slide, and this is something that I think speakers are going to speak to as well. So you can see where Silver Crescent is. You can see where units 1 to 4 there are. Units 1 to 5 have got units that are going to operate. Sorry, units 1, 3, 4, and 5 are going to operate during the daytime. Unit 2, the one where you can see 57 meters, is due to operate for 24 hours a day. So what we're looking at here is the noise generated by these units. So the applicant has undertaken a noise assessment to establish what the background noise levels are day and night time. They've used a computer program to apply them to the properties in Silver Crescent to establish, first of all, what the background noise level is during day and night time, and what the noise level from these proposed units would be. They are satisfied, and we are satisfied, that it would be 10 decibels quieter than the existing background noise levels, and we're proposing a condition attached to the scheme which would ensure that they do operate those levels when they are brought online. I think that's probably all I've got to say on the application. So yeah, I'll leave it to questions if that's okay, Councillor Chair.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Dunn?
Just to make sure I've understood you correctly, they are 10 decibels quieter than the existing background noise.
Yes, well, actually more so. So they've had the threshold for an acceptability. This is what our policy says, 10 decibels below background noise levels. Just to be a little bit clearer on that, because that sounds, I know what that sounds like. It's the background consistency noise level. So there will be certain, I say, peaks and troughs over a period of time. So it's meant to account for the fact that certain tonal differences, which would be noticeable, and certain peaks, that's accounted for, so that we keep it 10 decibels below, not at background noise levels. Because
and is that Is that if you're standing right next to it, or is that from the street, or?
So that is from their noise sensitive property. So basically they're measuring, actually, sorry, I'm going to skip ahead to a slide which one of the speakers is going to speak to. So you can see that they've measured, these are the properties in Silver Crescent themselves. The numbers that you can see on there are the noise impact from these units, and they've measured them. So you can see 32 decibels, 33 decibels. That's what they'll be hearing during the daytime. I think the largest one is 36 decibels. So
What's
that's
that equivalent to?
it's kind of above whispering, so quiet murmurings at noise level, like a fridge, something along those lines. It's a very generic description, sorry, but those are the kind of, you know, library level discussions. So pretty quiet, but you know, at night time it would be noticeable around that level.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor John.
Yeah, you've just almost preempted one of my questions there, Matthew. Obviously, it's a sort of scheme that we like in principle because it's decarbonisation, it's green, and it's hopefully taking a lot of carbon out of this site. But because it's providing effectively climate conditioning, etc., within the buildings, is its use, or do you know this, is its use primarily linked to the occupation of the building? Therefore, we can assume that during the silent hours of the site, the noise will be down, or does it maintain a constant background climate?
Yeah, the noise report does actually lead into that, because the equipment's quieter during the nighttime than during the day. It's because they've got certain, you know, there's certain needs of these units. So when there's less needs, then they're quieter or they're not running at all. So yeah, it's not the same throughout the 24 hours of the day. They would be quiet at night, quieter at nighttime.
Councillor Darnish.
Thank you. This may be a rather foolish question, but I just needed a little bit of clarity. You said the noise would be sort of in peaks and troughs. So even when it's at its peak, would it still be below the 10 decibels? Yeah.
Potentially no. The peak. So sorry, I've called it a peak, and that's not fair to say a peak. It's not like there's going to be a loud bang, but it's measured over a period of time. So over a period of time, the average noise levels will be 10 decibels below background level. That's why. So most councils have it 5 decibels below background level. We go 5 decibels further, but that is to account for peaks and troughs. So it would come above background noise levels.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
Councillor Doan.
I'm sure we're going to hear this later from Councillor Biddulph, but in the report it says that she thinks the applicant should require additional sound screening. I understand there's already acoustic enclosures there. Do you feel that the sound screening as proposed is what it should be, or do you think it could be better?
Yeah, so it exceeds the basic threshold of what we would ask for, which is this 10 decibels below background noise levels. They will speak to issues with the existing building, which is obviously a perfectly reasonable thing to put across, and how at the time additional acoustic screening was needed. But we're satisfied that this is sufficient to meet the policy requirements.
Any other questions? No. Okay, I would like to call the objector up, please.
Sorry, Chair, if it's okay. The speaker's going to speak to some slides that I'm going to have up on the screen. So I'll be flicking through them as and when she sees fit to do so.
Just to let you know, you have 5 minutes to speak, and we'll let you know when 30 minutes near the end.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, councillors. And although this is another noise issue, it's very different from the preceding one, because this is noise on the roof, not in the basement, and it's noise coming from a large number of big buildings. I'm speaking as chair of the West Chiswick and Gunnersbury Society, and on behalf of residents of the east side of Silver Crescent, of which I am one. We welcome the Chiswick Business Park's intention to decarbonise the plant and improve the park's sustainability. We do not, however, want this to be to the detriment of the quality of life of neighbouring residents. Can you put on figure, well, that shows, yeah, the table there. Thank you. The noise assessment for our R2, which is our side of Silver Crescent, shows the proposed new plant to be just within or at the required limit. So you've heard this 10 decibels below. But if you look in table 4, you'll see that some of them are literally at the limit. So where the limit is 36, they are at 36, or where it's 32, they are at 32. So they are just meeting, okay, so they meet the requirement. But we believe that it's more than likely that the noise levels actually experienced by residents will exceed the limits for the following reasons. The noise assessment findings allow no leeway for variation due to actual choice of equipment, fluctuations in operating conditions, and efficiency. Noise is also likely to increase as equipment ages. The noise assessment does not take into account the specific acoustic environment of the terrace properties of Silver Crescent. Retrofitting of sound baffles was found to be necessary to mitigate the unacceptable level of noise from plant installed on the roof of Building 3. That was some years ago. To explain about the terrace, the layout of the Victorian terrace properties in Silver Crescent are in close proximity to the boundary wall, which gives rise to particular acoustic effects. In particular, the long, narrow side returns result in amplification of sound from the business park. Thus, sounds are louder and clearer at the end of side returns, where living rooms and bedrooms are usually situated, than at or near the boundary wall. In these circumstances, the precautionary principle would suggest including a higher level of sound screening, acoustic attenuation, now rather than waiting for problems to occur, as has happened in the past, and as placing reliance on the conditions for monitoring and mitigation would mean. Improved acoustic attenuation as part of the proposed scheme would make good business sense, as it would be less expensive for the business part than retrofitting additional screening. It would be better for residents, as they would have some assurance that they would not have to suffer unacceptable levels of noise until satisfactory mitigation was provided. It would thus be a win-win solution. We have no wish to delay the work of the business park or to add to the committee's future agenda. We would be content for the application to be approved by the committee, subject to improved sound protection being included now to the satisfaction of the planning officers. And as I said, it is about noise, but it's about noise, as I say, from a very large number of, large buildings, and it would affect the length of Silver Crescent. That's over 60 properties impacted. So, yeah, that's really what I would like to say. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any questions? No? Thank you very much. And can I call the applicant to come up, please? Hi, just to remind you, you've got 5 minutes, and then we'll let you know when it's 30 seconds before the end.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to address the committee this evening. My name is Sam Wilcock. I'm the Development Manager for Chiswick Park Estate for the Chiswick Park Unit Trust. The Chiswick Park Unit Trust has owned the estate for 15 years and has consistently sought to invest and improve the environment of the estate for our tenants and for the local community. We hold several events through the year for the local community, including film nights, family days, and this winter we've got an artificial curling rink. I don't know if people are interested in curling, but we have one of those this winter. These applications are part of our clients' ongoing investment and improvements to the estate and are a fundamental aspect of the ongoing decarbonisation strategy of the estate. By April 2027, every commercial building in the UK will need to hold an EPC rating of C or above. By 2030, that will increase to an EPC rating of B or above. The replacement plant proposed are part of our client's commitment to achieve the required EPC rating through utilising sustainable energy sources. These are fundamental improvements needed to meet national requirements for commercial buildings and ensure the estate can continue to be successful in attracting and retaining high-quality tenants within the designated key office location. We understand there has been some concerns raised about the noise of the replacement plant and the amenity to the neighbours along the western part of the site. We wish to reiterate that we have submitted a noise impact assessment with the planning applications which has been prepared by a qualified acoustic consultant and is based on the calculation methods set out within an established international standard on outdoor sound propagation. The assessment concludes that the proposed plant will meet the council's noise standards, as you've discussed, 10 decibels below the background noise. And I'd also like to highlight this will be verified, I believe, by post-installation via condition. The Council's Pollution Control Service have confirmed they are satisfied with the information provided, and officers have recommended approval subject to conditions which have been agreed with the applicant. We trust members will approve this much needed work to the estate, and myself and some of my design team are here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? Councillor Dan?
Thank you. So I suppose the question I'd like to ask, you've heard from the objector that they feel additional acoustic measures are necessary. And I suppose I'd just like to hear your position of, I'm assuming, why they're not needed.
So they are required, and we have included them. So when we did the noise assessment, we were aware that we needed additional attenuation. So we have acoustic attenuation around the air source heat pumps and some of the VRFs.
Maybe I misphrased it. I think the objector's saying there should be additional to what you're proposing in this application.
So our argument to that would be that we are in line with the council's noise standards. We're 10 decibels below the background noise. We've put in acoustic attenuation to deal with that. I think we've done what we need to do.
Councillor Rosman?
Thank you, Chair. Just to confirm, 10 dB less than at the moment the sound's going to be.
Yeah.
So, and this is with the full refurbishment of all of the plant machinery that you require.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Thank you.
Councillor John Shortove?
Yeah. You heard the objectors. That one of their concerns is that as this sort of equipment ages, like a fridge, I guess, it gets a bit noisier. What's your experience with these and the servicing of them? And because what the object is saying is that they've had experience, and this is obviously I've got no evidence to say whether they're correct or not. But their statement is they've experience of aging equipment getting louder and noisier over time. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, I think that we have a full maintenance team at Chiswick Park, and over the lifetime of this equipment, it'll be maintained to the highest standards. That the entire park is maintained, every bit of plant on the estate is maintained. So we will maintain this new plant just as we do everything else. So that should mitigate any issues with age.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and we can go to a debate. Councillor Rosman?
I propose, yeah.
Marina, second. Okay, we can go straight to the vote then.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Sorry, everyone. This is just to clarify that there are 5 applications here. If anyone has any objections to not splitting the vote, we believe procedurally we can vote at all items at the same time, unless anyone objects to that at this particular point. Okay.
Go on then, Tom.
Right. I just think it's worth talking for 30 seconds or a minute about this. So recognise the concerns of the objector. I think it's important that we do acknowledge that and the objectors and what they say about it. I think the strongly weighted issue here is, though, the improved sustainability. I mean, I say this having gone on a low carbon development course this morning up at London Councils, where there were some officers and councillors, about 20 of us, talking about some of these very issues that are here now. It's not that we all accept, I hope, that moving to a sustainable future and low carbon future is what we want, but it throws up lots of complex issues along the way. Where there is a problem between whether this causes unnecessary noise and should have a greater mitigation. But I think the outline of the application and what the applicant has said today, I agree with my colleagues who've moved and seconded all 5, is that on balance we need to approve this and to allow the sustainable, a greater sustainable future for these buildings, because of all the important reasons about doing that. So I just thought it was worth saying, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Dunn?
Yeah, I just wanted to draw members' attention to condition 6C. That basically says after it's been installed, it's going to be tested to make sure it does meet those standards. And then the final sentence says, once achieved, the plant shall be maintained permanently thereafter to continue to meet the standards. So I think we've got sort of robust measures to deal with any aging equipment.
Okay, thank you. Right, we're going to go to the vote now. So all those for, can you put your hands up?
For all,
For all five.
all 5 applications.
We have unanimous approvals, 13 votes for all 5 applications. No abstentions, no noes.
Okay, we got item 4, noticing and planning enforcement plan. Can we note that? Noted, yeah. Any other business which I consider urgent? I have none. The next date of our meeting is the 4th of December. And I'd like to say thank you very much and good night. Maybe it's a lucky thing that I said that we're going to be done.